Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ICC of 25-26 round, to the round 6 of the ICC. First of all, I just want to tell you it's midnight, and I'm a little bit tired. I'm not sure if I want to make this as quick as possible. Yeah, you are gonna be checking some things. We are, I guess, 4.5 out of 5, and this is round 6. We're going against the experienced opponent, old guy. He opens up with d4. I go with, again, c5. Just like the, I think, 4th round. I played with black, he went d4 and c5. And the game continued with e3, d5, and knight c3. Now, my opponent plays e5. Which I was a little bit surprised. I was expecting, if he went into this, I was expecting knight f3. I did look a little bit into knight f3, not that much. But he goes e3, and here I just go d5. Knight f3, and now bishop g4, labeled as an inaccuracy. Here the engine likes best knight f6. Overall, there's really nothing wrong. It technically is a way of playing the position, but the engine doesn't really like the bishop going out when white can take. Had black made takes, bishop here would have been great, but takes, knight takes, and I was just feeling it. He goes c3, taking was the best. There's not really anything wrong with c3, it's just a move. You go for the Slav setup. But the thing is, I'm technically playing the Queen's Gambit with black. My opponent is with white, playing the decline, which is not that great. It's a little bit weird. He goes c3, and I go knight c6. Now knight c6, the engine wants me to take, and probably then either go e6 or knight c6, because then this pawn cannot be taken. I go knight c6, it still screams for it to take the pawn. He goes bishop e2, which is technically a miss. Now I take, he takes back, and I just play c takes d4. Now, here I want to tell you that in this sequence of moves, or c takes d4, I noticed something. I noticed that in this position, if he takes with the e pawn, this is the same as playing e4, c6, d4, d5, takes, knight f3, bishop g4, c3, knight c6, bishop e2, bishop takes. So this is a Caro-Kann defense position, which is my bread and butter. I really like it. And it's the exchange variation where you play e6 and you go into this Carlsbad pawn structure, which also which also comes up in some I think Queen's Gambit decline positions. I'm not quite sure, but overall, this is just, I know the plans. The idea is to go a6, b5, knight a5, knight a4, put the rook on c8, and just try to go for the minority attack, where we, with these two pawns, try to get rid of these two pawns, and then we try to pick up this weak pawn. Now, keep in mind that all of that I have just said is if my opponent takes with the e pawn. Had he take with the c pawn, the game would have continued way differently, because we now have like a symmetrical pawn structure, so the chances would maybe be smaller. He does take with the e pawn, to my happiness. I got extremely happy when he did this, because now I just play e6, knight f6, bishop e7, castles, rook c8, maybe queen c7, queen b6, a6, b5, knight a5, knight c4, and just am very happy. Bishop f4 is a move, of course. I play knight f6. he plays knight d2 and knight go bishop e7. Now, all of this is a little bit straightforward. I'm not really spending much time in this stage of the game. I think my opponent is. We both castle, and now I go for the move. He goes for the move h3. Now, h3, I just think it's a little bit bad. First, I thought h3 is to prepare g4, which is kind of true, but that plan is not really that great. The problem with h3 is that it's kind of a waiting move. Of course, the bishop could go out, but h3 is played in a lot of these structures where you have traded the bishop for the knight in the beginning of the game, in normal carry count positions. For example, when the bishop goes to pin, this is not the position. I don't even know if I have actually carry count position. I only take this knight, not when the bishop is here, but let's say something like e6 and h3. And now, yes, this is the position. So he does go with bishop e2. I take, he takes. You go e6. No, yeah, this moves like. Wait. I'm a little bit confused. Okay, bishop e. Yeah, we just take. We take. Then we play e6, bishop f4, knight f6, knight d2, bishop e7, castle, and now h3. So yeah, I thought h3 was weird. It's not that weird. The engine doesn't really dislike it. I just go a6, but a6 it's different from h3. I do not want to do this. I want to go a3, a6, b5, knight a5, knight c4. Bishop e2 it says it's an excellent move, and yeah, the bishop here is not that well positioned. Here it's much better. But yeah, I don't really like it. I just want b5, which is good. He plays e3. Now here I was considering lots of options: b4, a4, a3, and then b4, b3, and then c4. But I ultimately got into this option doesn't work. And to my surprise, he goes a3. I go knight f5, provoking b4. He goes b3. The b3. I mean, okay, he's trying to prepare c4. After rook c8, there is no c4. There's just I just have too much into this square, and like b3 is such a weird move, especially because after rook c8 he just goes b4, which I just think it's completely stupid, because if he wanted to go b4 he could have wedded it in like the previous move. There was no need in. Why do I have like a hair here in the fucking hair? I don't really know. But let's continue. Yeah, I just think that b3, b4 is not that great. I go knight b7. Now, knight c4 is the best idea. And I kind of see why, but after something like, I don't know, knight takes, and here, I don't know, let's say b takes, d takes is also fine, but b takes, I just didn't really see how this position could be better than what if I just went with the knight back. Because the c-file is not, it's still semi-open, and I enjoy this a little bit much. Now, rook c1, good move. I go knight e7, knight d6, not knight e7, e7 is here, so we go knight d6. Here I had a very straightforward plan of just going with the knights to e4, if it takes, I just take, and then I have pressure here, the knight is also good in e4, and when I was considering this knight d6 move, I thought, okay, I'm gonna play knight d6, and to prevent me from going here, which is not that great, he has the options of bishop d3 and f3. Now, bishop d3 seems a little bit better because you're not damaging the structure. The engine says that after knight b3 you're doing fine, and also after queen e1. But of course, but the engine in those two moves doesn't even want the knight on e4 anymore. It just does not want it. So let's just say knight b3 knight e4, what would have happened? I mean, okay, they just get knight c5 and they can close the position like this, let's just say. And yeah, this is not that easy to play. Here, actually, white is technically winning by a pawn. So you can't take that knight. I do not know why, but you can't. He goes f3, which I saw is a little bit of a mistake. Here I set it up a nice trap with queen b6. The engine says it's a miss. It prefers one move that I will be playing shortly. But what this sets up is that, let's say black does nothing. Let's just say bishop g5. I have rook takes c3, and after rook recaptures, I have check, and no matter what white blocks, let's just say king h1, I just win a rook, and I'm 2 pawns up. Now, to my sadness, the opponent played king h1, which is also given as a miss, but yeah, it defends. I did not see knight b3. The thing about knight b3 is that rook takes does not work, because the knight just protects the pawn. I did not see knight b3. Had knight b3 been played, I would probably continue something like this. Maybe double up, maybe not. I don't know. And there is also bishop e3, which is also normal. But yeah, you went king h1, which I wasn't really happy until I saw this nice combination, which is knight h5, attacking this bishop, and in getting and using the fact that with h3 and f3 played, that g3 square is just too weak. And not only that, but if the knight lands here, it's a fork on the king and the rook. Plus, if another knight gets to land here, it's a fork on the queen and the rook. What does that mean? That means that the only defender of those two squares, technically, it's this bishop. If this bishop was here, it would defend both squares. But the thing is, I have two knights. This can go here, this went here, and they are just going to be absolute monsters. They are going to overload the bishop, and they are going to win me the game. Now, he goes bishop h2, and here I go knight f5. What I was saying, I'm already threatening a fork on g3, that my opponent tries to stop with queen e1. Queen e1, I saw that it was a mistake after a little bit of time calculating, because of this simple bishop h4. Now, g3 never works in these lines, because I always take, and after takes, like g3 takes, let's say with the knight for example, I just take, and after takes, yeah, it's not looking very good. I was also seeing rook anywhere, really there's just here, yeah, here it's gonna be, this is fg3, this is weird, this seems like it's gonna, this is just bishop d6, there's also queen c7, even worse, yeah, it just doesn't look good. But rook here, I just saw bishop h4 still, going after the rook, which the engine doesn't really like that much. It wants more to get the king here, but I don't even know why this can, oh, why can, oh, okay, so it combines that tactic that I was talking about previously. There's always this tactic, which is actually kind of good, and it wants bishop d6 first, but I did not see that. The only thing I saw was that after rook, I would just play, after, let's say, rook e1, rook f2, rook g1 I didn't really consider, rook e1 I would just play bishop here with the same idea. Nonetheless, he goes queen e1, I go bishop h4, and here it's pretty much game over. He has, the only real attempt is to block the rook, with the rook, or admit that you've just completely lost the move and are going to lose the game. I go check. Here I could have taken the rook right away, But I decide to go for this check. Here the engine also says that rook takes d4, completely crushes it. I don't really know because that rook takes. There's just takes and takes. I just guess there's takes, but what I'm saying is after knight takes, let's say pawn takes for example, you have rook takes, the queen takes, and you just win back the piece, and you're doing much better. I didn't really saw that, so I just went knight check, king moves. If the bishop takes, it's the same idea, you just check with this knight, or because the idea is that after the king moves, I pick up the bishop and then pick up the rook. So what I did, I just simplified a little bit the position, a little bit more. And here I blunder. Here I saw that, yeah, I can take the pawn because the pawn is pinned to the rook. But the problem with knight takes d4 is that the engine says that there is a line that actually wins a piece back, the knight back. But the thing about this position is that now white just has too much counterplay. In this position, white doesn't really have much. But by taking the pawn, now you're going to see that my opponent gets a little bit of play. It starts with firstly king h1. I go rook c6, very important move. We're defending the queen because if this knight gets attacked, the queen has to be protected because it can just move. Bishop g1, the best move, and here e5, very forcing line. But yeah, black. White is, oh my god, my back is fucking killing me. Black here is still fine. The engine only gives it 1.6 evaluation. And yeah, white just has some play. Now, queen e3 just completely loses the game. After rook e1, I'm technically losing a knight. After this, I don't really know what there is. There's h6 and it's a game, I guess. But yeah, my opponent does not find rook e1. Instead, he goes queen e3, which is a mistake. After queen c7, yeah, now the position is looking a little bit better because my knight is gonna leave this square and it will not be taken. And these two pawns, these two central pawns, this is actually very nice that I got in the game. I got two really strong central pawns. I don't even know how I did it. It was the d6, e6 setup, and I just have these two dominant pawns, and you guys are gonna see they are just completely amazing. Bishop h2, go f6. Could have won rook e8, didn't really see that. He goes f4, I go knight f5. The best move is knight e6. There's also rook c8 and whatever. But I couldn't decide between knight e6 and knight f5 at the end of the day. I considered both and I just thought that knight f5 would be better. After queen d3 you have to be careful because this pawn cannot drop here. My instinct would have been to play e4, which is kind of a nice move, but yeah, we have to be careful for the pawn, so we just play knight e7. After knight b3 we go now e4, yeah, that move. Queen d4, I just attack it again, the queen goes back. And here I go rook c8, the best move. But here I do commit a little bit. I could have won it back with the rook, because now the rook is kind of in jail. But the good thing is that it's in a light square. This knight is not getting to it, only in like D square. No, not. Yeah, these. It only can get to the rook on these squares that I've aimed, and yeah, it doesn't really seem that it's getting into any of them that soon. The bishop also cannot do anything to the rook, and the rook, you know, is just kept. I go e5. If he takes, very simple. We just pick up the knight and it's game over. He goes knight e6, and I go queen b6. And here a move that I overlooked, f5. It's the best move. I did see it. I'm not gonna lie. The thing is that after I take, which is not correct because now they take on d5, we're still fine, but the counterplay level is just massive. It wants knight h6 for when this knight moves. It just, for example, knight at e8 check, we just go to Yeah, here I'm almost getting smother-mated. The position is not easy. Had I taken the pawn, I did not. I played a takes on b, ab, and queen c6, and here I'm now doing much better. Phil we're tagging the pawn, so he technically has to either go here or go here. He goes to d4, but I now just play queen d7. I control every square that this knight can jump to. I attack this pawn, I defend this pawn, and this pawn. And we're doing very well. Goes g4, protecting the pawn, of course. We go knight c6 here. I saw the line which was knight takes, which is the best move. And I just saw knight takes on b4. It is winning, not that much. The engine prefers knight e5, it's still of course calculating. But I did not consider this because of, I think it was this. And just the knight is just planted here, and there's really not much I can do. And now it's d4. But yeah, the knight is just, planted there. After this, I was seeing knight f7 only. And yeah, here maybe there are some, I don't know, the position is complicated, and there's just a lot to be said here. But I went knight b6. He doesn't take the free pawn. He goes knight b3. Which is an inaccuracy. The engine one just didn't take. Now I go d4. Now the position is converting itself. The pawns that were here are now gonna go one step closer to the edge. No, not Lincoln Park. To queen themselves. d4 is a nice move. If they take like this, I mean, firstly, I saw taking with the knight. The engine even wants to take the rook immediately. There's always also e3, which is very strong, it seems. Queen d5. But I just saw, knight takes, and that I was just doing very well. But yeah, d4, he doesn't take. He goes bishop g1, which is a okay move. The bishop is not really doing anything here, so might as well just use it. Here I go e3. e3 is also a move. I didn't really consider e3. I only given attention to d3, to be honest, not gonna lie. Here there is knight c5. And it attacks the queen, but the queen just goes to d5. And going to d5 is actually a little bit menacing to the white position, because now I'm threatening discoveries, where I can trade the queens after, let's say, I don't know, h4, give me h4, e3, here. This endgame is completely crushing. I can sack, I can promote it immediately, I can do a lot of things. It goes bishop e3, which is a nice move. Okay, you stopping here. Or here I found an even nicer plan. We have knight e5, and after he plays rook a1, which is not that great of a move, rook a1, because now I can get a knight f3, and after knight f3, the queen has to move, and this pawn is looking very good. Now, instead of rook a1, I don't know, I was considering maybe rook d1, removing the queen. If he had moved the queen, there wouldn't be any tempo. It would have still been crushing. Don't get it wrong. And even queen a2, there's just, for example, here, which just stops everything. He told me after the game that there's queen a2, but just rook here, and there's really nothing on the a file. The a file is completely mine in this position. We go knight e5, he goes rook a1, and I go knight f3. Queen goes to b2, and I play d2, and here I actually set up a nice trap after he plays rook d1, which is queen e5. Now, the thing about going queen e5 in the position is that I'm threatening mate, because this pawn is blocking the views of the defenders. The engine says that the best try is to sack the queen, which is completely crazy, because it says that after the rook takes, which is what was played in the game, there's a mate in 5 after queen g3 that I did not spot. I do win another rook for another. I do win another exchange, and I'm just looking super comfortable. Here I take with the rook, because if had I taken with the queen, there's probably nothing wrong with taking with the queen. But I mean, we have queen d7. We have queen d5 was what I was most afraid. King f8 is a blunder. It's king h8 that we have to play, but even in this position, it's looking weird. And yeah, there's just no need in me letting him infiltrate. So I just take with the rook. And after bishop d4, I saw a nice line. I can just take the pawn. This was all seen. When I taken this pawn, I saw the move bishop d4 that looked kind of nice, but I just immediately thought, okay, so yeah, this doesn't work. I just take the h pawn. The king moves. I check with the queen. And here, after king f1, the best attempt was just trade the queens, but whatever. It's still lost anyways. And after here, there's a mate in 3. I play the first move, and my opponent resigns the game. Now, it was a nice game. So in this second week, it was a very good second week. We go, let me just check my messages real quick. Let me show you guys Shaquille O'Neal. And yeah, it was nice. We can see the full review if you guys want. I think I've played it well. I mean, I was kind of afraid because my opponent played the Kali system, and yeah, that seems weird saying that, but that's true. I'm not really kind of afraid. I wanted to get a win out of this game. My opponent was like, what, 100 points lower rated than me, and I've already drawn in like a little bit of a time ago against a not so good player, but a lower rated player, which you never want to. I mean, of course not. You lose elo. Who wants that? But yeah, we did win this game. We played a good game. And yeah, in the whole tournament up until now, we've been playing good chess. We've been playing very well. We've got an 84.8 accuracy. My opponent got a 78.9. And yeah, the engine here just didn't really like that knight takes on d4, saying it loses a knight, but that's only if he does find all the correct moves. Of course, here I also need to find all the correct moves. Had I gotten rook b8, I don't even know if this is any good. Yeah, this move is very good, as you guys can actually see. I think I was considering it. I probably was, bro. I don't even know. But yeah. That was about it. We just were in control the whole game after that small error f3, and we just took our chance. We played with a technical 2250 rating against an 1850 rating. If that was true, it would have been nice, but it's not true. But it was still overall a very nice game. I'm very happy how it came. We have now 5.5 out of 6. And yeah, we're playing well. Now, let me just tell you, the last week, we have already completed these 2 first weeks. The last week of the tournament will undoubtedly be the hardest week of the whole tournament. We're going to go against the higher rated opposition and better opposition. But, to be honest, if I get 1 out of 3 in the final week, I will already be happy. I think if I do get 1 out of 3, my elo doesn't drop. It actually goes up a little bit. And I mean, of course, the elo is what it is. It doesn't really matter that much, but I mean, we all like it to go up instead of going down. And given what we're playing, I think we do have a lot of good chances in this last round to actually play a good game. But yeah, it's like midnight and 30. I'm feeling tired. I'm gonna like I had dinner like 1 hour ago because this game was like 2 hours ago. It was from 6:30 to I think up until 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock or like 9:50 or something. I can even check here. Yeah, 9:50. It started at 6:30. So it was like I had one game that was like 4 hours. This one was like what 20 minutes and 3 hour and a half chess game. But it went well. We did play well. And yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. I'm not gonna show you updated standings because I don't really even have them. There aren't. Maybe in the start of the 7th round, I'm gonna just show you guys so you guys can see my position. We are going to play. It's like Halloween today, I guess. That's funny. I'm gonna play the 7th round. Let me see. Yeah, on Monday at I can even check here. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, I also have a game at 4 o'clock in a Thursday. And yeah, 4 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, and then the other game I haven't really scheduled it. But yeah, it's probably in between, I guess. I don't even know. But yeah, we did well. And yeah, I see you guys next time. I mean, gonna go to sleep, gonna go watch these. I had dinner. And here I go. Bye.